Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sexual Wellness Podcast. I am coming to you today with an R18 triple X episode. I've decided that it's time and I've had enough of all of the psychology and the thought behind sex and la 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 la, and I am ready to have some kinky, dirty, freaky fun. Yeah, so basically I just wanted to spice things up in here and give you guys some hot as fuck suggestions on how to take your self-pleasure to the next level, how to take your sex life to the next level, and just have way more juicy fun. I'm so excited about this episode, and I'm feeling it in my body that I've been thinking about it and feeling into it and adding to it all week. So I'm just ready. Okay, so I've got I've got 6 different points that I'm going to go through with you. And they're all depending on what you're kind of after, what sort of turns you on and what you feel would resonate with you. So just take what feels good and leave what doesn't, and then know that at some point throughout your life things might change and you might be more open-minded to certain suggestions and so on and so forth. When you start to feel a little bit triggered or potentially major resistance towards something, I always find that really curious and interesting to inquire about. Not necessarily mean that you need to push yourself into doing it or rip your ego apart to understand what the resistance is and blah 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 blah. I just think it's a really curious invitation to understand why you've got such a strong resistance to it, because it can, it's just fun to kind of know yourself in a really beautiful way like that and why you react to certain things, because what it means is that you have so much more beautiful control of your life. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm in a real funny mood today, so just bear with, okay? Bear with. So, first point is get a massive, the biggest that you can find, full length mirror, the hugest mirror, because I want to invite you to start to self-pleasure and have sex and just dance and be with yourself in front of the mirror way more. So this isn't just about mirror work and looking at yourself in the eyes and saying how much you love yourself and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing and dope, and I definitely think that you need to do that kind of stuff because it is major. If you haven't looked at yourself in the eyes and told you I love you, then you need to stop this freaking podcast right now and go and do it. I don't care if you're parked in your car, do it in the rear view mirror, do it in your phone, if you're out. Make it happen. Look at yourself in the eyes and tell yourself that you love yourself. And if it hurts and if it's scary and if you cry, then yeah, you're not alone, and welcome to the path of self-love. So back to having sex and self-pleasuring in front of a mirror. So women are really stimulated visually as well. And there's been a lot of really interesting studies shown recently about how when you put a couple having sex in front of a mirror, the guy looks at the girl and the girl looks at herself, because we are fucking sexy, okay? I don't, women, and men are sexy too, but women, the feminine is desirable. Come on, it's we are so luscious and delicious, and to really just witness ourselves being ravished either by ourselves or with a lover is the most erotic, sexiest, hot as fuck thing. And if you've got certain parts of your body that make you feel uncomfortable, this is the perfect way to move past that resistance, because I can guarantee the more that you lean in and explore the places that you do love, and the more that you become aroused at the sight of your body and at the sight of yourself being aroused, and treating yourself like your own greatest lover on the fucking planet. Make love to yourself like you've always dreamed of, your biggest fantasy lovemaking sesh. Make that happen in front of the mirror, and then watch the kind of that thought about, oh, my belly looks like this, dissolve, because you've just kind of you've overridden it with all of this like juicy pleasure energy that you're just infusing all throughout your cells, and you're having the best time, and you're just like, oh my God, I am so fucking hot right now. Oh my God, this feels amazing. Oh my God. So yeah, I highly recommend a mirror. It's a great addition to any self-pleasure practice. Oh, that's all I had written there, but I feel like I want to say more about that. Yeah, I do want to say more about that. I think with the mirror is it's like a really beautiful exercise to really get to know those parts of yourself that are more intimate. So like your pussy, for example. How often do we look at our vaginas? Like never. So by actually, pleasuring in front of the mirror and having sex in front of the mirror, it really helps you to understand how beautiful this part of your body actually is. Because, even if you've like looked at it before, it's still like down there. We don't have this like protruding penis that we see every single day. It's kind of tucked up under there and we don't even know it. There can be so much like shame and insecurity and, oh, it looks weird or this or that, and all of this stuff that comes with the kind of, that stigma around our genitals and so on and so forth. Does it smell? La la la. But the more that you get to know it in an intimate way and play with it and actually like be aroused with it and enjoy your own body in this way, the more you're going to be releasing that shame, and the more you are going to be able to show up with full power, full confidence, and like, fuck yeah, honey, look at my pussy, look at how like gorgeous this whole situation is, and like this, you're about to have a really good time. That kind of energy with like a lover or a partner, instead of like, oh, don't go down there, it feels kind of weird, and then all of a sudden you're in your head and you're not connected to your pleasure, and it's just like blah. So yeah, that feels much more complete. So that's my first tap on the mirror. Get a full length mirror, put it in front of your bed, put it beside your bed, put it at the end of the bed, put it on the freaking roof, ceiling, I don't know, anywhere that you can. Or just like in your room somewhere, and then you can set up a gorgeous like pillow fortress in front of it, like sheepskin and rugs and cushions and all of your toys and lubricant and just everything, and turn it into a complete love shack pile of heavenly bliss. Yes, that's also what I'd recommend. Okay, now I'm really done with that point. Gosh, you guys, I'm in like the silliest, fuzziest mood today. It's just, I'm actually really into it. Okay, so the next point I want to bring to you is get kinky. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about BDSM or, Grey's Anatomy. No, what is it? 50 Shades of Grey. Is that? I think that's what it's called. I've never actually seen it or read the book. I think I started watching the movie and then I was just like, I don't know. But I'm not talking about that kind of kink. I'm more talking about butt plugs, playing dress ups, and using props and things like that. Like, have you ever played around with your own inner masculine energy? Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like to you to really embody this like inner man inside you? Like, have you ever played around with that archetype within you and tried to seduce yourself from that energy? Like, it can be so super hot. I'm not saying that you need to dress up as a man and like play into that kind of role. I mean, you can also totally do that if you don't already do that. I mean, that kind of stuff is also really fun and kinky and hot as fuck. But yeah, I guess what I'm inviting you to do here is to like really play with all of the energies that come into the bedroom with you, not just your feminine surrender, especially if you're self-pleasuring. It can be so powerful and healing and potent to come into your self-pleasure sessions from your own inner masculine perspective, and be that man who's so present and there for you, who sees you, who witnesses you, who loves you, who holds you, who takes you deep into those places that you thought you couldn't go to on your own, but you are on your own. But your inner man's taking you there. Like, all of this kind of stuff, really start to get into this role play. It can be so much fun and so spicy, and It can also be very enlightening in terms of what you may be needing in life, or, what you're really craving or longing for in a partner, or, what you're needing your current partner to do to please you. All of these things can not only be really orgasmic and really enjoyable, but also be very, very insightful. Butt plugs are great. They come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. And if you're someone who is wanting to move into anal play, this is a great way to get started. Even if you don't want to move into penetration in the beginning, just playing around the outside and stroking and just spending some delicious time in this space, getting to know this area, because we store a lot of shit, excuse the pun, in this area. And I'm not just talking, literally, I'm talking, emotionally as well. Like, we store our biggest pieces of shame, our biggest pieces of shadow in our anus. And it's really, really wild to start to explore the pleasures of this space, because actually tapping into anal pleasure and really doing a lot of that deeper inner work can be the most intensely pleasurable, like really ecstatic experience of the deepest surrender to everything. Okay, I'm getting a little cosmic and like psychological here, which I said I wouldn't do, but I can't help it. But the thing is because we store so much of that pain and trauma and just shame, essentially, not even pain and trauma, it's mostly shame in the asshole. It's like once you start to release that, you can really start to access some pretty extreme, beautiful states of pleasure. And I think the thing is with anal sex and any kind of anal play is you need to be super duper relaxed. Like, you can't, like with vaginal sex, penetration, heteronormative, it's easy to, I guess, allow a penis to enter you. I'm just talking in heteronormative terms here, you guys. Like, if you are in a different relationship dynamic, then just translate what I'm saying to suit you. I just use this language because it's like mostly who I'm speaking to in my audience, and two, it's just kind of easier for me at this stage. But it doesn't mean to say that these things don't apply to you as well. Just please insert your own language and tools here. Now I've forgotten what I was saying, damn it. Right, so what I was saying was with vaginal sex, it's easy sometimes to let a penis into you before you're fully ready, right? Hands up if you've felt that before. I know that pretty much like 99.999% of women have experienced this who are sexually active. And it's so normal. It's so normal. I still do it, like even with my partner, and I work in this. This is my life's work, and I still am vulnerable sometimes to allowing my partner in when I'm not fully ready. But you can't do that with anal. It's like you need to be in a whole different state of relaxation and surrender and trust and security and love and just all of that kind of stuff, for the gates to properly open so that you can experience that bliss and pleasure and it not be really painful. So it's such an interesting place to explore on your own and like understand what's there for you and understand like where the pleasure lies for you, because it can be such a powerful tool to bring into your sex life with your partner and by yourself. Yeah, and dress ups. That's another thing that I love to play with. Just like dressing up, like who's to say that when we masturbate, we just need to be in our tracky dacks and like do a little rub of the clit before we get out of bed to go to work in the morning. Like, that is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to shame that experience. I do that as well, and it's great. It's perfect. But I'm talking about self-pleasure here. I'm talking about those nights where we just want to treat ourselves like the fucking goddesses that we are. Get dressed up. It's like really embody the, sexually liberated, confident, safe, secure, in control, like boundaried, self-loving, like queen, goddess, womaness, like creature, whatever, like insert your own terminology in that. Imagine you as that person. Like, how would you show up in pleasure for yourself in these moments? Like, how would you make love to yourself? You would go out of your fucking way to make it the most special and delicious experience possible. Of course you would, because that's what your whole life is about. Like, making sure that everything that you do and everything that you want is like, finding the pleasure in everything and adding a touch of sensuality and femininity to, it's like infusing honey with everything. And your self-pleasure practice is exactly the same. So the next point that I want to bring to you is dirty talk yourself. So this is actually a really amazing tool. I give it to a lot of my clients who struggle to communicate their desires in the bedroom. And practicing dirty talk with yourself is an amazing way to, one, actually understand what you do and don't want, because when you're sort of like not mindlessly doing it, but when you're in the kind of meditation of it, it's really beautiful. But sometimes we need to get into our head to communicate that to the other person in a way that's, effective and graceful, especially if we're not already like completely effortless at this. So by practicing when you're with yourself, it's really amazing, because the first thing you've got to do is understand, oh, this doesn't actually feel good. I want to do that instead. And then actually going into speaking it in the moment is so amazing. And not only does it sound really sexy, but to hear your own voice, like dirty talking yourself, but also it's practice, and practice makes better, and it empowers you so much in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom to communicate more in the moment, to be more finely attuned to your desires and what turns you on, and then speak from that place with way more ease and grace, and kind of saying goodbye to all of that anxiety and insecurity that can come up when we go to assert our needs and our wants and our desires in the bedroom. So you are welcome. Okay, so the next point that I've got for you, this is one of my favorites, and it's applicable to self-pleasure as well. All of this is applicable to self-pleasure and partnered sex, but it is tease. And who doesn't love a good freaking tease? Okay, and so what I want you to do, I'm just going to talk about it from a self-pleasure perspective first, is, again, talk to yourself in the mirror, dirty talk yourself, and say, I'm not going to let you come for ages, and stick to it. It's like saying that you're going to do something and then actually following through and do it is super important, because that's going to exercise your self-love muscles. That's going to establish trust with yourself, and it's going to give you that sense of security that a lot of women are longing for, when really we can establish that within ourselves. And finding security and love within ourselves is about doing the things that we say that we're going to do, keeping those little promises to ourselves. So if you say to yourself in declaration, I'm not going to let you come for so long, stick to that. Build up the pleasure so much, but just before you're about to, go over the edge. So I would say 0% is not feeling anything, 100% is you're like coming. I would say when you're at about 70, 75%, maybe 80 at max, because once you go past 80, you're like already falling off the cliff to 100%. So you don't want to get all the way there. You want to cut it at around 75% and then come back down. Go into like full body practices like body massage and spread that pleasure energy around your body. Like move it from your genitals up into your heart. Go into your breasts. Breathe into your heart. You can take it even further, like move it up to your neck, into your throat, down your arms, at your fingertips. Like move that pleasure energy that's been building up in your pelvis and spread it throughout your entire body. You can stroke your inner thighs downwards towards your toes to, again, like, it's not visualization. Well, it is a bit of visualization, really. It's kind of a bit of everything. But doing things like this will help you expand your pleasure potential throughout your entire body, and continue to do that cyclically for, however long you've sort of set your intention for, or promised yourself for, or however long you're self-pleasuring for. Or perhaps you don't even end up coming. Perhaps you just build up that energy for hours and then walk out the door with like beaming with orgasmic energy, or like perhaps you put it into a creative project, or you start singing or dancing, or I don't know. But this kind of energy is like rocket bliss fuel for your life. So you can turn it into the most like beautiful, like ongoing, full body like waves of pleasure that lasts for a long time. You can take it into beautiful orgasm, like whatever, like take it wherever you want to take it. But the most important part is to stay in the tease. Now, when I'm talking about partnered sex, of course, it's exactly the same, but it is about holding your boundary in this position, which is so fucking hard when you've got someone else and you just want to like fuck their brains out. I get it. I know it's really, really hard, but it's super important to stay with it. Stay true to your word in this. It's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. And what it does is it really builds magnetism and desire, and just that tension, that like sexual tension that you guys are just like, you're gonna want to like tear each other apart by the end of it. This is the thing. It's like love craves closeness, whereas desire craves spaciousness. And so if you're sort of like constantly with someone, constantly in their space, like, constantly just going straight for the, dick and vagina penetration, it's like there's no room for magnetism and tension and desire to build there. You want to make sure that you are creating tension and that you are creating space so that you can come together in that magnetic way. And you can do that in the bedroom as well by practicing like really beautiful tease. So, like you can do classic things like tying them up and tickling their bodies with feathers and feeding them chocolate and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, it's like I'm sure we've all got plenty of inspiration on how we can tease our partner. A personal favorite of mine that I'm going to share with you is, just like, letting them sit in the entrance of your yoni and just staying there. No further penetration, but just staying there, breathing together, looking each other in the eyes. You're not allowed to enter, but you can just wait at the gates until I'm ready. Let the pleasure build, and then move into something else. Perhaps it's, again, like full body touch, like keep doing that, like move that pleasure energy that's built up in the genitals and spread it around your partner, and go into, other forms of pleasure and touch and intimacy and play, and then come back into this space and just be like, I'm not ready yet, and like go back into the tease and rah, and like, yeah, that's a really, really hot one. So you're also welcome for that. Okay, so the next point that I want to bring to you is orgasmic breath meditation. So this is sort of like my version of the microcosmic orbit, which is a classic Taoist practice. And it's basically a visualization of your pleasure energy building in your genitals, and then you breathe it up the back of your spine, up to your crown, and then down the front, like over your nose, your lips, your throat, your breasts, your belly, all the way back down into your genitals. So it's a circular motion, and it just goes up and down with your breath. So on the inhale, you're breathing that energy from your pelvic floor. You're also pulsing your pelvic floor, because when you do that, it's like stimulating all of that goodness in there. And you're breathing that juicy pleasure energy up the back of your spine, up to the crown, and then as you exhale, it washes over your face, down your lips, your neck, your breasts, your belly, and then back into your yoni. So you can do this as well. It's really powerful if you visualize like a white light or a golden light or honey or, anything that really resonates with you and makes you feel like calm and juicy and pleasurable. Oh, you can tell how my whole energy has changed, and like even just the thought of it, I've like dropped into pleasure and into my femininity. And yeah, it's a delicious practice. This practice is also really powerful. I can't believe I'm telling you guys this for free. Anyway, there's so much good shit in this episode. So yeah, this practice is really amazing if you're wanting to sort of explore like full body orgasms and really starting to play with your orgasmic energy and moving it around your body instead of it being very genital focused. It's also an amazing practice to do with your partner cyclically together. And so you both breathe energy in and up one of you and then down into the other one. So if you have a male partner and you're a female, let me rephrase that. If you have a man partner who identifies with a masculine essence and you are a woman who identifies with a feminine essence, like I said earlier in the podcast, everyone's got like a feminine and masculine essence within them. So just like translate this for the dynamic that works for you. So basically, the man is the receiver through the heart, and the woman is the receiver through the yoni. So when you're sitting together in front of each other and looking at each other and breathing together, you breathe from his genitals, from his, cock into your vagina, and then up the back of your spine, and then out your breast, out your heart, and kind of like out your throat space into his heart, and then down. So does that make sense? Because women have these breasts, these protruding breasts. That's how we penetrate our partner, through our hearts, and they receive love through their hearts. We receive through our yonis, and they penetrate with their cocks. So that's the kind of puzzle of the male. That's how we sort of like fit together like a puzzle, and that's how you breathe together. And it's a really, really, really beautiful practice. So to do that is just delicious, and into some next level shit. It's also it's just intimacy. I think something that we really underestimate in our sex life is like non-sexual intimacy, and how fucking sexy that is. There is nothing sexier than just being seen and heard and understood. Like, to me, that is foreplay. Damn, like that is hot. And really implementing time and space in your relationship to have, it can be physical intimacy with like touch and sensuality, but not sex. It's like, how can you create space to lie next to each other, look at each other in the eyes, breathe together, talk about what's real for you, have real emotional intimacy, be seen, be heard, be understood, touch each other, give each other messages, but don't have any pressure or expectation for it to turn into something sexual. That is so freaking healing for men and for women. It's like men also have so much performance anxiety, or a lot of men have so much performance anxiety when it comes to sex. And so relieving them of that pressure sometimes, especially when they're stressed and, they've got stuff going on. It's not just us who experience all of this stuff in life. How about just giving each other permission to just like be in each other's deliciousness and not need it to be anything that it's not at that time? Okay, guys. So the final point that I want to bring to you is breast massage. Seriously. So I think that it is so freaking important that as women, we know how to turn ourselves on. It is so important that we know how to nourish our bodies and how to stay in tune and in touch with our intuition and with our body's wisdom at all times, especially when we are engaging sexually. And that is so challenging, especially if we come from PTSD backgrounds, or if you've had any kind of like not even like non-traumatic, but weird sexual experience, which is like so many people on the planet, it's really challenging to decipher the body's information from like, when am I in fight or flight? Or when am I needing to self-soothe? Or, like, what does this all mean? And then going into dissociation. So honestly, by having a really beautiful, regular breast massage practice, this is going to not only keep you aroused and in your turn on and in your femininity, but it's also going to keep you deeply in tune with yourself, and not just like your head or your ego, but your actual like soul's wisdom. I'm sorry for the woo-woo-ness there, but you know the difference because you can feel it in your body. When you're speaking the truth, when you're being honest to yourself in terms of what you want and need in the moment, it feels good in your whole body. You feel expansion, you feel light, you feel calm, you feel safe, you feel effortless, you feel wet, you feel turned on. When you don't, you go up into anxiety, or you're feeling contracted, confused, disorientated, indecisive, all of that kind of stuff. And so when you have tools and rituals to actually truly get to know yourself and that deep inner knowing of what is true and what is right for you, that is when you can really tap into your power. That is when you can really start to take the day-to-day action of walking your talk and of being this, insert like goddess language here, version of yourself that you're so longing to be. It's like, it looks different for everybody, but it's there, like being turned on and confident and like feminine and in tune with who we really are is something that, we crave as humans. And it's just part of the human experience to like get disconnected from that. And it's tools like these that actually help to remind you to bring you home. And the next thing is that breast massage is such an amazing tool to get you turned on, to get you feeling good. Because so often we rely on our partner or on external circumstances to keep us juicy. Perhaps we'll watch porn, or perhaps we'll kind of wait to feel good within our day and so on. But no, you can claim your pleasure for yourself. You can claim your power here. You can get wet, juiced up, and turned on in the most loving and exquisite way through breast massage. And I think it's also really important for women to demand this more in the bedroom. It's like, it's super common for like a bit of a like nipple lick and a titty grab, like for a second, just a sort of quick stop off on the expressway down to the, grand vagina. But no, it's not about that. The breasts deserve so much time and attention. The heart is the gateway to the pussy. And if it's not open, then the experience that you're going to be having down there isn't going to be fully connected, isn't going to be fully aligned, and it isn't going to feel deeply fulfilling and meaningful and all of that stuff. So really get in tune with your breasts and understand how that there are meridian points in there that are directly connected to our ovaries, to our womb space, to our yonis, and all sorts of spots around our breasts that turn us on and light us up and make us feel really good, mind, body, and soul. So, breast massage, not only as a tool for self-pleasure, not only as a tool for love making, but as a tool for, being a feminine, confident, turned on woman in the world. For me, breast massage is a practice just like meditation. It's something that I can always draw upon if I'm not feeling great, if I'm not feeling like myself. It always brings me back to my body and to my radiance. And on that note, I've got my Heart Space course coming out next Wednesday, you guys. It's in 7 days. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I think it's the 15th. It's launching. If you're not on the pre-sale list already, I highly recommend you get in there because that's where the early bird price is going to be. And it's and it's only going to be in there for a limited time. So definitely join the pre-sale list. You can go into my website, find it there, laura.com/HS pre-sale, or just go .com and you'll see it there. Heartspace pre-sale. If you follow me on Instagram, you can find it via the link in my bio. It's super easy, and the whole course, I mean, I asked you guys, I did some market research the other week trying to figure out what you guys were needing. Like, what do you need right now? I know there's a lot going on in the world, and what you came to me is like tools to relieve anxiety, stress, tension in the body, how to stay feminine, how to stay turned on, how to like stay in that big goddess energy, but in a way that's going to be easy and implementable for you, especially in this current new climate. So this is a DIY bundle. These are all quick practices from 10 to 20 minutes that you can implement and do at any time throughout your day. It's also self-led, so you can do it in the privacy of your own home in a time that works for you. And it's also going to be a really, really accessible price point that's also going to be released next week. And there's going to be super spacious payment plans because I know things are going a little crazy at the moment with all that stuff. So I'm going to make it accessible for everyone. So please get on that pre-sale list. It's going to be really fucking good. And I've been creating it for weeks and weeks now, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe how much I'm putting into this thing and how fucking epic it is for this price. But it's okay, because I really just, it's like a deep wish of mine for all women just to really be in tune with their radiance so that they can start to live that like heart-ruled, pleasure-fueled life that they're craving, that they're totally craving. And now's the time. It's clean slate, blank canvas, honeys. It's time to get the sex, love, and life that you're really, really wanting. No more waiting, just the doing. The doing is the knowing. So come and hang out. Come hang out on my Instagram. Get in touch with me. Send me a DM. And let's get you juiced up. Okay. That's it from to me. That's it to, what did I just say? That's it from me, you guys. I am like in the weirdest mood. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope it brought you a bit of excitement and tingly feelings. And I am really keen to hear how these tools and practices have enhanced your sex life. So let me know. And yeah, I'll be back with another episode soon. Thanks, y'all.